if you're in a position of influence, create value, create service, create connection and genuine interest in the other person. Your privilege is to serve them at the highest level and to answer anything that they need in the moment.
Hello and welcome to the Ronny Leber Show, where every week we bring you fascinating guests with inspiring stories of success and overcoming obstacles from the worlds of sports, business, and entertainment. To support this channel, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and hit the like button so that we can deliver you the best content possible.
He is a master in unleashing your full potential, a wizard in sales, persuasion, influence. He's an executive strategist, cultivation expert, and a co-founder and partner at Your Best Life. And he's also a wonderful human being. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up and welcome. Here is Chuck Hogan.
Thank you, Ronny. So great to be here with you, brother. Great to see you.
You're welcome. Absolutely. I'm happy to have you here. We've known each other for a long time, for decades, actually. When you look at your life right now and when you grew up, what was it that you had imagined that you were going to become when you were an adult? And also, did you even know what a relationship cultivation expert is or that it exists?
You know, I just knew that as a kid, I really wanted to be able to connect with people. What a lot of people don't know about me, and there's a huge misconception about me, is they go, oh, that Chuck Hogan guy, he's such an extrovert. He likes hanging around with a bunch of people and influencing people. And I go, newsflash, I'm a highly operating introvert. And so for the longest time when I was young, Ronny, my deepest need was to feel accepted. I grew up at a time, I'm many years your senior, my brother. You are a very brash and young and bright young man, and I'm probably about 15, 20 years your senior. And what I can tell you is that in the 1960s, growing up as a half Japanese, half Irish kid, the United States was a very different place back then. And I know of your European descent that there's so much more variety, but all I can tell you is I didn't always feel accepted, and I didn't always feel very comfortable in my own skin. So if someone were to start talking about, oh, you're going to be a relationship cultivation expert, and it's like going, yeah, I started with my first client, me, when I was little. And it was how I could connect with myself and the relationship with self so that I could actually, at some point in time, I didn't know it would take me here. I just knew that I have this huge love for people. And yet at times I find myself, the introverted part is the one that watches, because God gave me two of these and one of these. And so I decided I was going to listen and watch and really learn and create rapport with people so that way I could genuinely understand what they needed in life. Because for the longest time, I never felt heard. So to your point, it was like this started from a very young age.
Well, having known you also for almost 2 decades, basically. Yeah. What I was thinking is that, first of all, it's very easy for you to build relationships because you are really a genuine person and you walk your talk. And relationships are so important in business and also in the private life. And you talk about the relationship as the ultimate currency. Oh. What do you mean by that?
You know, it's interesting. Oftentimes people are looking for exchanges of value, and there is nothing more valuable than you. You are the largest and greatest gift that you can ever give to another human being. Your heart, your integrity, your soul, your intelligence, your humor, your brevity, you, the core essence and energy of you. You are a divine being. You're made of protons, neutrons, and electrons. You are made up of light. And so when we get to cultivate personally and professionally, body, mind, and spirit, a relationship with someone else, what we're really giving is the only one thing that we really own, because money comes and goes. Your life is you. And when you give you, there is no greater remuneration, gift, or grace that you could afford another human being than to be fully present, authentic, and giving you. And that's why I say it is the ultimate currency.
Mm-hmm. When you think about relationships, what are relationships really?
Relationships are energetic engagements. They are an opportunity to connect and combine energies together. If we think about it in a quantum, even just for a moment, and this is realistic because this is scientific. Now we're going into the science of it. Is that when you share energy with another human being, there's a compounding effect, and that's why, like, when we fall in love, they're like, "Oh, I'm so in love." Well, that's because these energies are so conjoined and they're deep with a passion, with a very, very, very high measurement of resonance and energy. When we fall out of love, it's the same thing. It's like, oh, I'm so depressed. I feel so dejected. Why? Because there's no longer a connection at that same deep level. There could be admiration, adoration. There could even be, I'll say raw attraction, but it's not the same as having the connection, because there's one thing that's important. A relationship is an exchange of energy. Actually, if we really want to get down to the basis of it, it's either a elevation, a neutralization, or detraction in energy. That's all a relationship is. The meanings that we give to it is very different than the actual engagement of what a relationship is.
I love that, because also after listening to you, when being in love, this is like the highest form of a relationship, or also of magnifying everything inside of you as well. Like all the feelings you got, all the emotion, everything feels more beautiful, more incredible when you're in love. It's like a totally different level. Also, one of the things that I learned from you was oftentimes you talk about like-minded people, to surround yourself with like-minded people and so on. But you do not just talk about like-minded people, you also talk about like-hearted people.
Yes, it's I started realizing a long time ago that in ecologies, especially in the world of self-development, self-help, if we want to call it growth, human behavior, that a lot of communities come together because they're like-minded. We go, oh, I read this, I heard this, and then it's like, okay, I want to learn more. Well, that's very mind-oriented. So it creates an attraction strategy for people, and they go, so, like, I remember you and I watching, something very similar and going, ah, you saw it too, Ronnie? I saw it as well. I love the way you think. Oh, I got it. You got it? Yeah, I got it too. Here's the interesting part. Think of it as if this pen is a line, and you have all these people who are standing. So if you were looking like at the tops of their heads this way, you would see that like-minded people have this tendency to get in alignment. So they have this mental alignment because they have a focus, whoever the speaker is, whatever the content is, and they may have different outcomes, but they're still focusing on the same things. Here's what's interesting about that. We get myopic. So if we're all in a straight line, we can't see each other's scotomas. We can't see the blind spots of what's going on. What I love about like-hearted is that it requires two things. Like-minded doesn't require any appreciation of the person other than what they're thinking and how they process data. Like-hearted requires three things. One, permission. I'm going to give you permission to stand for me. You're going to give me permission to stand for you. So there's two relationships right there. And the third one is that we're going to be authentic and real. Why? Because in that authenticity and in that connection and giving permission, I now give you permission to kick me in the butt when necessary, but do it with love. But to be honest and real and integrous. And as we were talking previously today, we talked about this where it's like, hey, give it to me real. I can take it. I gave you permission to be real with me. Well, now this means that we get to take different levels of relationship where you'll be in front of me. I'll let you lead. I'll get inferior, and back and forth. Now we can see each other's blind spots. But there's one facet to this that increases like-heartedness, and that is I know who you are. And you shared with me what you need in your life in order to feel the way that you need to feel most often. This means that I know who you are at your core. That has nothing to do with how you'll process data, the decisions that you'll make. It'll have everything to do with what's going to fuel Ronny Leber and his happiness, his prosperity, his love, his growth, his adulation, and also being careful not to take away the lessons that you'll have as well. Because I'm not going to sit there and watch a bus coming and go, Ronny, don't step to the left. I'm going to be grabbing my buddy and moving him over and go, whoo, that was close. Why? Because I have you and I know you got me. That's like-hearted.
Beautiful. And also another distinction actually that I learned from you was the difference between mindset and heart set.
Oh, this is huge. Most people go, just change your mind, shift your mind. You know, we especially in behavioral sciences, everything's a triad: physiology, focus, and language. If you change one of the three, you change the experience, you change the meaning behind it. And I'm going, okay, that's great operationally. Let's get really real. Why do you need to change? Let's go to the core of it. Let's not deal in the fluff. And I go, you need to change because you're not feeling the way that you need to feel. Oh, yeah, that upset me. I was aggravated, frustrated. I go, great. All that's wonderful because now that's a great distinction. And now we can move in a different direction. But let me ask a different thing. Where does your mindset come from? This is the part that perplexes me the most. And people go, I don't know. I just thought of it. I thought that would be a good outcome, a great goal. And I go, here's the challenge with outcomes and goals. You judge them. If you don't hit your goal 100%, the brain only deals in binary. So if this is a cognitive decision and you're making an outcome and goal so that you've set your mindset, I am going to be this, I am this, that's great. And here's the challenge. If you're not that way all the time, the brain goes, really? You don't have what it takes? Are you not intelligent? You got 99% of the way there, Chuck. You couldn't make the 0.1% to get it over the finish line again. Here's the difference. Let's flip the script, because what we're doing is we're taking outcomes and goals and making them the total focus without understanding why they're so important. This is one of the challenges I've had with certain rapid planning methods. Pick an outcome or goal, back into a feeling, take mammoth action. You have a huge gap here. And this is what people always go, I'm trying to close the gap. I'm working on closing the gap. And I go, great, start here. Your heart set is your purpose and your why. It's how you need to feel most often. Start heading in a direction.
So when I understand this correctly also is the mindset is working through words and evaluating. The heart set, how does the heart set communicate? Because I don't believe it's through words, is it?
No, it's through feelings. And what it does is that it ends up emoting and creating opportunities. In business, we have this concept that we say progress equals happiness. Well, what feeds progress is possibilities. Guess what? Same formula works in your personal life as well. It works in your identity and who you are. Progress in your development is if you're progressing in happiness, in fulfillment, in achievement, in love, in prosperity. It's like, whoa, well, how did that happen? Oh, I've had all these possibilities. But when you feel like there's no possibilities, you stop. And this is when people go into stasis or getting by, or they seek comfort, because it's kind of like people want to be insanely in love, but they'll settle for connection. That's kind of like mindset, connection. Heart set, that is that's like you being in love. That's the whole next level. That is like that's the good stuff. That's where the polarity and the confusion and the heartbeats and the butterflies and the twitters come in. And it's like, okay, why? Well, because the body communicates through synaptic function. Every single thing you ever experience, even your mindset, is set by neuroreceptors that have dopamine and adrenaline and different types of adrenals that start to pump into your body. Everything is to feel a certain way. You don't go, oh, I made more money. Yay. You're like, I made $1 billion. Heck yeah. I met the woman of my dreams. I'm the richest man on the planet. We just had our first child. I couldn't be more in love. Oh, but those were all just mathematical algorithms saying that you had prosperity because you checked the box that you had a kid or that you made some money. Well, what if you lose $1 billion? Are you wealthy or are you poor? And it's like, well, I could still be the wealthiest man on the planet. I may not be monetarily rich, but I am rich in love. I am rich in happiness. I'm rich in connection. I'm rich in faith. I am rich in energy. I'm rich in health and prosperity. And people throw away health, Ronnie, like it's nobody's business, and it's the truest measurement of your wealth.
Beautiful. I'm thinking right now also because in order for our viewers and listeners to take something away for them as well, in order to, when you're starting out and you want to
Yes.
become a better communicator, and ultimately also you want to influence other people or persuade other people, what does influence mean to you?
Influence to me means you being authentically clear and conscious of who you are. What we get to share is our truth. And opinions are like posteriors. Everyone's got one. And as my Irish grandfather would say, some are prettier than others and some not so much. And so one of the things that's important to note is that there will always be someone that has an alternative opinion. And I go, honor it. Honor it. Don't judge it. Influence to me is being able to speak your truth, be authentic and real, believe in yourself and others, and most notably, don't live with a regret as to expression, because you're never going to get 100% buy-in from anyone, and there's no such thing as perfection. So in order to influence someone, though, there's one imperative facet. You need to believe you first. It's unbelievably important. And so many times people will be telling a story or spinning a tale, or it's easy to talk theory. It's easy to hypothecate and give someone else's opinion or quote someone else. I go, what's a genuine thought that you have, a feeling, an emotion, and can you articulate that at a 5th grade level?
For example, for somebody who works in sales, and I know that you've worked in sales for a long time, because
Yes.
basically sales is nothing else than influencing somebody into a buying decision, and
Correct.
And that is neutral. It's not good or bad, because oftentimes people see, oh my God, oh, he's a salesman or she's a salesman, like see it as something really bad. But in general, it's everything in life is about when two people come together, who influences the other and who is being influenced. And we all influence each other. But the question is also, do you have an example of the value of
Yes.
influencing, and also how that works in practice?
Absolutely. There's an age-old saying in sales, and that is, no one likes to be sold, everyone loves to buy. And so people aren't looking for strategic, they're looking for real. When someone's genuinely interested in you and they ask great questions. And so let's say, Ronny, you're going out and looking at a new AMG 63, Mercedes-Benz. And you're like, going, you and Elizabeth don't have children yet, but you're like going, hey, this is the car of my dreams, and this is what I'm looking for. So we happen to have it. You come into the dealership and I say, Mr. Leber, it's such a pleasure to meet you. I see that you're looking at the AMG 63. Can you tell me, what is it about this car that makes you feel so great? And all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, yeah, I do feel great. Every time I look at this ride. Why? So what are some of the things that you admire about this vehicle, and how does that make you feel?
So
See, when we start
I'm telling myself.
Yeah, I'm not selling you. I'm just asking you questions that create the value proposition, because you're there for a reason. And so if I were to say, gosh, would you like to take it for a test drive? Have you had the opportunity? Oh my gosh, I was in this thing the other day and it was life-changing. So would you and Elizabeth like to take a drive? I won't even go with you. Here's the keys. Just if you'll leave me your ID, and then we'll go ahead and here you go. I'll see you in the next, 20 minutes or so? Go ahead and open it up, take it out, and tell me how it feels. Have an experience. Have your experience. Because at the end of the day, that's what life is. Every single opportunity is an experience that we get to indulge in. In fact, that's actually the definition of life. It's the culmination of all your experiences. So if you're in sales, or i.e., as we described, if you're in a position of influence, create value, create service, create connection, and genuine interest in the other person. Because they're there and they've come to visit you. Your privilege is to serve them at the highest level and to answer anything that they need in the moment. Don't anticipate their wants. Ask them how you can be of service and how you can serve.
So so to sum it up, if I understood correctly, to ask the right questions, come from your heart, be authentic, and through your questions, guide them in a direction, really be there to serve and to
Absolutely.
deliver through their wishes to sometimes it's also about helping them overcome some fears or some objections. But I think it's
Absolutely.
really about moving them to an outcome that they desire. And when you help somebody else create an outcome that they desire, then you all won.
Listen, all a transaction is creating value for someone's needs, and then there's an exchange of services. If it's monetarily, if it's money, if it's information, if it's influence, if it's guidance, because it may be, and I go, oh, but Ronny, you and Elizabeth are going to be starting a family soon. Now, if I may, the AMG 63 is a gorgeous car, but I got to tell you, I just test drove the new CLS 580, and it's a 4-door, and it's as sexy and as sweet and as powerful as the 63, but you can actually put baby seats in the back. Would you like to check that one out? Because now, compelling future. See, when we ask better questions, when we start finding out all the things about you, now we can create value because there's options and opportunity. But we can be the clarifying factor. And Elizabeth may go, oh, but it snows here too. Well, this has this is a 4MATIC. You get an all-wheel drive, but if you're concerned about high center, why don't we just get you in a G-Wagon? Why don't we get you in a GLX? This way you're above, you have plenty of vision, you can fit the groceries, you can put the stroller in the back. How does that feel? And hey, it has the same motor as the AMG 63. So you're gonna get right. So now all of a sudden people are like, oh my gosh, how do you know Mercedes? Because I like my Mercedes. And so my point in being is that when you love it, when you are a fan, it shows. Maya Angelou had 2 sayings that have been a huge influence in my life. And this goes back to your earlier question about, did I know where I would be today? In some way, shape, form, and yes, because I heard these 2 quotes. Number 1, no one cares what you have to say until they know how much you care. Ask better questions. It's imperative. Number 2, people forget what you said, they'll forget what you did. They'll never forget how you made them feel. When people feel valued, they feel necessary, they feel cared for, and they feel that there's an authentic exchange of energy and information with no pressure. You came to see me at the dealership. I didn't call you in. I didn't promote to you. You came in. What a blessing and a gift for me today.
Beautiful. Another question that I actually have, because there is also this concept of becoming a person of interest. What is a person of interest, and how do you become a person of interest?
I love this because with influencers in the world today and everyone going, oh, I need more likes. I need more followers. If I can just get more clicks. And I go, do you know there's people going out and buying clicks? They're buying followers or fake followers because they want to get to like 10,000 followers. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I go, wow. Why don't you just go in the street then and start handing out $100 bills and say, will you be my friend? Because that's what you're doing. You're buying fake. You're not buying real. So ultimately, if you want to be someone that creates value, you want to be an influencer, you want to be someone in social media, you want to be someone that actually creates validation and net worth, I say, then walk your freaking talk. Don't go out and tell people that you have a program that can make them a millionaire, a billionaire, and you're still rubbing pennies together hoping they make babies. If you're someone who's made billions, then now you have what we call a mentor strategist mindset because you have done it. You've lived it. You've gone through the pain. If Ronny, if I asked you and I said, how do you tell someone how to become a great announcer, an orator, an MC, an event host, you can tell them academically, but they've got to go out and do it. You can talk about it though, because you are this, you live this, you be this. It's kind of like when people go, oh, I'm a coach. That's great. In what? I'm a life coach. Wow, that's a pretty freaking broad category. So are you a life coach in health and vitality? How's your health and vitality? Well, I could use a few, kilos. Okay. Tell me about your relationships. Well, I'm not in one. It's been a while. Business? Well, this is my first business. Then what are you going to coach me on? Because at this point, I have more life experience than you do. But if you're going to give me a bunch of bookwork knowledge, just give me a reading list and I'll go ahead and get shelf help.
You know, right now you're working as a managing partner also for Your Best Life to help people
Yes.
elevate finance, family, fitness, and faith to live their best lives right now. What does that mean, and how do you actually balance all those areas in today's busy lives?
Well, here's the cool part. Life is not about balance. It's about harmony. See, there's this concept in balance. And if you think balance, again, we can use this pen. If I'm balancing, I'm trying to keep homeostasis. I'm just trying to keep the peace, but I'm not moving in a direction. I'm playing it safe. When you start to put two on here, so faith, family, fitness, and finance, people are like, oh, I'm tithering. And so now all it is that we just have more differentiation. But the fact of the matter is, if you don't have strong faith, and so I'm going to use a different concept. Let's imagine these are all ships and we're in this harbor.
And faith does not need to be religious, does it?
No, it's not. It's energy. It's connection to a higher source. It's connection to self. Because again, we're all energetic human beings. So it has nothing to do with being ecumenical as far as a specific faith. It has more to do with your beliefs, the universe, life, love, happiness, the pursuit of these things. But if I go faith, family, fitness, and finance, and let's just say everything's going great except faith, and this is anchored down to the ocean floor, but now I'm growing in all these areas of my life. These are all tethered together. You will start to see that faith, family, and fitness and finance, if faith is floundering, it will hold all the others down, and you'll start to capsize all your growth and progress, because life isn't about one thing, Ronnie. It's about everything. We are the culmination of all these experiences, emotions, feelings, actions, attributes, KPIs, SOPs, job descriptions, and experiences. So what we can understand is that when we get better understanding, we can learn how to delegate and release some of the things that no longer serve us. One of the prime premises around YBL, Your Best Life, is to help business owners actually become owners and not operators. Many people are married to their job. If they don't do it, it doesn't get done. And they have this concept: if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself.
There's also the concept of to get some things done, it's not about how, but it's about who. Who is the best fit in order to get it done?
Yes.
So the question also, because one of the parts also, of course, of Your Best Life, but also of other things is networking, is getting to know people who also are on the path together with you. So why do you believe that having a strong network is important? Let's start with this.
Please. So one of the biggest qualifications in Your Best Life is we go through an interview, and the interview is actually to look for ecology, where we're not looking for like-minded, we're looking for like-hearted. So we have people that are in all different principles of business, but they have very similar modalities relative to their value system. This is something that we have actually had affirmation through Simon Sinek in his infinite mindset ideology, which is the difference between a finite and infinite mindset. Finite is, you know, all the players, there's rules to the game. If you break the rules, there's penalties, and the only outcome of the game is to win. So you're either winning or losing. In an infinite mindset, which is where YBL really functions, you only know some of the players because they're changing. As you're growing and cultivating, you're getting different, you're resonating at different frequencies, so you're attracting different people into your life at those different times in faith, family, fitness, and finance. The other side of that is there are no rules. There's only value alignment. So I never question the integrity or the veracity of the information you're giving me because I know where it's coming from. I know who you are. So now we're just dealing in truth. We're dealing in facts, and we're dealing not in just conjecture, but we're really dealing in authentic communication. And the last part is there's no winning. There's only staying in the game as long as you can. So when we look at this, what happens when you start to conjoin ecology and get blending of ecologies is that you're getting this talent pool of different distinctions. So we'll have people in real estate or in marketing that are giving inferences to chiefs of staff and ER doctors. We'll get people who are doing multifamily who are giving Airbnb and VRBO people information. And they're going, oh my gosh, I never even thought to look at it that way. Why? Because there's alignment, and they're not looking to outdo one another. They're looking to lift one another. That's an amazing ecology, because no one is comparing, I'll say, genitalia. Whose is bigger?
Yeah. So basically, also that's about the value of a network. How do you actually create a network in general? Like if somebody is out there and says, or let's say you're moving to a different area, you're moving to a different country, and you're starting out with not really knowing a lot of people. So how do you today create a network?
So one of the things is go out and to your point earlier, that is, start looking for things where there are like-minded people to see the interest level. And then you can see if it's an organization that actually has a deeper level of communication, where now you can actually connect in like heartedness. One of the areas, and this is going to sound maybe a little woo-woo, but I'm going to put it out there. For some people, it's church. They'll go to, if they're Roman Catholic or Lutheran or Methodist or Presbyterian or Buddhist, Hindu, whatever the case might be, Muslim, you know, they go to a mosque, they go, whatever the scenario is, what you're going to find is many people that are like-minded. You're espousing the same faith, the same belief systems. Here's the difference. When you start to find, are they of your same temperament and value systems when it comes to what you believe truly? Because some people go, oh, they're too orthodox for me and too constrictive. Other people go, oh, they're way too loose. They're loosey-goosey. And I go, that's all great. You're not looking for a billion people. You're looking for a couple of people. And the network starts to become is that there are actually more people who are like you when you're being yourself. The number one thing that creates networks is you being authentically real and clear as to who you are and what you need, what you're willing to be and what you're willing to let go of.
Well, and you need to go out. You need to go to meet other people in a way.
You do, because proximity is power, exposure. COVID put a hurdle to that for a little while with people, where they didn't feel that they had the ability. So again, what did COVID do? It did two things. It forced us to slow down, number one. Number two, it actually created a buffer where we had to get very uber creative as to how we could connect with one another. But the last part is that it created social distancing, which in some ways for people who are really kinesthetic, that they were starving for just attraction, connection, and proximity to people. And so now I look at it and say, it created a level of variety that now people can exercise, because now they have more ways to communicate than they ever did before. And they appreciate more the human connection than they ever did.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Because when it's gone, as they say, it's kind of like love. If you love it, set it free. If it's meant to be, it'll come back. And I go, okay. So for most people, they involuntarily had to set free this connection with people, and then they had an opportunity to come back. Some did, others didn't. Some people, and we're seeing this in work especially, there's hybrid work environments now. And there are some people who are really agitated about having to go back in an office.
You were talking before that you actually had to learn at a very young age to listen, because you felt like an outsider oftentimes. And so basically you really learned the skill of getting friends. If somebody is out there and saying like, and friends is let's say friends in a way of having a deeper bond with somebody. Yeah, it can be in a business or also in a private category. So when you're, what would be your tips to create this relationship, or like a deeper connection, relationship with another person?
That is a very slippery slope. And let me explain. You're looking for authentic relationships. And so that's what a friendship is. An acquaintance is someone that you share interests with. That's a like-minded person. That's not necessarily a friend. Your inner circle are people that you trust implicitly, explicitly. They're the people that you would leave your children with. If something happened, you would give them the key to your house, your car. They're your family. They're inner circle. The presupposition in all of this is authenticity. In the beginning, it's kind of like dating. Acquaintances are people that you find that because of energy, proximity, environment, it's easy. You didn't have to do much. You're in a concert, you're at a bar, you're at a dance hall, you're at an event, you're having these experiences, people are high-fiving and hugging. It's pretty easy to connect with people and start to find like-mindedness. When there's an issue, a challenge, an emotional experience, now you start going into more the possibilities of having a friendship. Why? Because the currency is exposure. It's vulnerability. It's caring, empathy, sympathy, understanding, and a collaboration and exchange of energy, which is information and communication. When it's inner circle, and there's people who create inner circle relationships like that, it's normally that through the test of time or through a very emotional, significant experience, there is such a huge energetic charge that in that moment you really got to know someone because it was life or death, or it was so life altering. And it's like, for the rest of my life, I will be indebted to you. You're someone that's near and dear to me. You own a piece of me. So to your point, it all comes down to one simple thing, Ronnie, and that is being your true authentic self. Life is so short. If you really want to have a relationship with someone, don't pretend. All it does is make you weaker, and all it does is do them a disservice. That's not a way to start a friendship.
I love that. I love those distinctions, and I'm actually gonna even go further down this slippery slope. If you are in a situation where you know, okay, this is my goal, this is where I want to go, and you know that there are certain people that can help you achieve this goal, but you do not know this person yet personally, but you know who it is. Like, you have basically determined your target. Yeah. What would be a great way to actually establish your relationship with that person? And also, because so oftentimes today we see how it's not being done. So yeah.
Oh, sure. So I would say the number one thing is create value for them. And people go, oh, but they have everything, Chuck. You know, I'm just starting out and I'm just trying to learn from them. Well, here's what I know about most people who have achieved success. They have a level of philanthropy within them. And what they're looking for in someone else is drive. They're looking for heart and integrity and truth and authenticity. So if you were to say, you know, Mr. Smith, I've admired you for so long. I've studied your work. I've read your books. And I don't know if you have a mentorship program, but I am someone who would be extremely interested in lending my services, my talents, and my gifts. I'm an extremely hard worker. I'm very driven. I'm a fast learner. And if you are willing to give me the opportunity, I would like to offer my services for free within your organization if there's an opportunity to learn through you, from you, with you within your organization. Because now, again, you're offering them one thing that you truly can control: your energy, your intention, your gifts, your talents. When you give you, that is the highest form of currency. You didn't ask him for anything other than the opportunity, listen clearly, to be able to engage and share your gifts and talents while you're learning, and it's not costing them anything. When they start to see the value in you, they're going to start offering you something.
You know, now that you're actually telling this, I just had a thought about that, because when the hardest part oftentimes is to establish this first contact.
Yes.
And one thing that makes it really, really easy is if somebody recommends you. Like, if somebody is building a bridge for you, somebody that already has a relationship with that person.
Correct.
What would be a great way to get a recommendation? Also for business, for example, because also the same is true in business. It's in private or in business. If you have somebody who's vouching for you, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
How do you get this recommendation?
So I always ask myself this one question: why do I deserve to be in front of this person? Because if you don't know what your gifts and talents are, if you don't know what your skills are, if you don't know what makes you you, just having desire isn't enough. It's not. There are a lot of people who have wants, but they don't understand what they need. But when you tell someone, I am committed, I am like so all in, this is what I do, this is how I time block, this is what I'm committed to, you are much more likely to get a referral from someone. But here's the thing, and this is so important, Ronnie. We need to be very clear in the understanding as to the level of relationship that we have with this person that's going to give us a referral. If they're just an acquaintance, come on, that's just an introduction. That's not an intro. What do I mean by that? There's a difference between someone just giving you a name and a business card and saying, give this guy a call. He's a friend of mine. If I go, no. I'm looking for a handoff. I'm looking for someone that's going to say, listen, I met this guy at this event. He's remarkable. My gosh, the way he showed up for the last 3 days, his integrity, his heart, his drive. This is someone you can use in your organization. I'm going to vouch for this guy. I've seen him in action. I believe he'd be a great fit for your organization. Now that is a handoff. That's the referral that we're talking about. Not, a lukewarm intro. Meh. So part of it is how are you showing up? And what is your convincer strategy for creating insane levels of value? Are you asking value proposition questions that emote the challenges that they're experiencing? Because it's real easy. Keith Cunningham says this: find out where the pain is, go get a solution, give it to them. Sorry, that's my terrible Texan accent of Keith Cunningham. But it's the truth. If you can help someone find and you can create a solution to challenges that they're experiencing on the daily, holy smokes, wait, what? You're a problem solver? Oh my gosh. Who created this? Who made you do this? No one. This is what I do. I facilitate solutions to interesting situations.
I'm going to shift gears a little bit here.
Please.
We already talked about progress equals happiness. Yeah. And in order to actually to progress, or as long as you're moving forward, you're also going to be happy. At the same time, it's also about creating this momentum, the momentum in order to make, like, we know this oftentimes in sports when basically first one team is winning, but then suddenly the other person or the other team gets a huge break, and suddenly the whole thing shifts. Like the psychology is shifting, and you can see literally that the other team they are basically gaining track. They're gaining momentum. Basically what happened, for example, in a Super Bowl between New England and Atlanta some years ago. So
yes.
How do you actually create momentum?
Possibilities. It's having the faith that the condition is not your life experience. That's only a moment. Oftentimes in a game, the biggest gift that someone, and this is in sports, in life, in business, in a relationship, if all you do is rely on the history or what's happened earlier in the game, you're not going to have any possibility moving forward because you've already defined what the outcome is of this engagement. Oh, we're behind. Oh, we're losing. But there are people who can be the instigators of immense change. Their energy is intoxicating. They love challenges. That's what they live for. There are people who are just looking for the opportunity. These are the people that were like, look, these are the optimists, man, because they see possibility everywhere. Like, come on, get with it. Come on, we got this. Believe in yourself. Step up. That's it. That's right. All right, find your flow. Got it. Hey, second gear, baby. We've been in first gear the first half of this match. Second gear. So I got goosebumps even talking about it because we know people who are like this. You're like this. I'm like this. It's like, this is how we get people juiced. They go, oh, that's just, huff and puff and fluff. And I go, no, it's not. It's believing till you achieve. I believe that we are all ordained. I believe that we all have innate gifts and talents. I believe that when we are present, there's nothing that can't be overcome. Nothing. Irregardless of how insurmountable it may be. You might have believed that halfway through that marathon that this was it. I'm not going any further. And you're like, heck no, I just got to keep moving forward. Guess what? Keep moving forward. Finding Nemo, just keep swimming. It's been a concept over and over and over again throughout the history of time. And it comes to the whole thing. Faith. faith that you're not broken, faith that there's another opportunity, faith that the universe allowed me to wake up and draw breath today and my heart was beating and I got to see my beautiful wife and hug my children and live this life, to be on this, amazing show with you. I go, I'm so blessed. When you're in gratitude and you believe in the blessings, Ronnie, anything's possible. And that's how you change momentum.
That's awesome. Thank you, Chuck. Let's for the wrap up, some rapid fire question.
Please.
One piece of advice you would like to give to somebody who is just starting out in their professional journey?
Yeah. Slow down. Slow down. Be methodic and be deliberate. That means, number one, get you right so that you can be right. Feed your body, mind, and spirit 30 minutes each day. Move your body for 30 minutes. Feed your mind beautiful information for 30 minutes. And feed your soul. If that's meditation, yoga, prayer, whatever it is for you, 90 minutes a day is your sacred time to fuel you. Get clear on your outcomes and goals and how you need to feel most often, and start taking mammoth action. Start moving in the direction that feeds the way that you need to feel most often, and cultivate that identity. Remember who you are, what you need, and what you need to let go of. So if you need to let go of resentment, judgment, self-deprivation, awesome. Remember, you're humorous, kind, integrous, and intelligent and kind.
Okay, beautiful. Then who is somebody that you admire or look up to, and why?
Great question. It's actually my father. My dad is someone that has such an amazing sense of humor, and after 30 years in the military, I could just tell you that he finds humor and a steadiness and a fairness and a lovingness in every approach that he takes. He does not hate anyone. He does not dislike anyone. He appreciates everyone, irrespective of how crazy some of their concepts might be. But I find that in the simplest of people, you can find the most amazing characteristics. And I pray that someday, even 1/8 or 1/10 of the man that he is.
Best book you ever read, and why?
Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. It gives you the basis for understanding that these concepts, although many, many, many decades old, still have a premise in today because they're based on behavioral sciences as to how we engage with people. It really changes the paradox. I'm also going to frame a second one, that is The Infinite Game from Simon Sinek. Right now, we're living in an ever-changing world, and with AI and optics and behavioral patterns, millennials, zennials, baby boomers, Gen Xers, this multi-generational approach is so important to be able to get clarity as to how you can cultivate an infinite mindset that gives you flexibility and higher levels of quality of communication with other people.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Chuck, if people are inspired right now and they want to find out more about you, where can they find you?
Oh, please. It's real simple. Just check us out at yblnow.com. We'd love for you to take a peek at what we do, who we are, and what we're all about.
Beautiful. Any closing thoughts, like 30-second thoughts about that you want to give to our audience?
No, thanks, Ronnie. Well, first of all, thank you, and God bless you and Elizabeth. For me, it's very simple. Just be grateful. Life is a gift. As they say, yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery. So be grateful for the present, because it is a gift and it is a present. All you have is now. You don't have a half an hour ago, an hour ago. You don't have 5 minutes ago. You have this point moving forward. So decide in your life that you're worth it and you need it, and then live it. Because at the end of the day, tomorrow's not promised to any of us.
Thank you so much. Very, very beautiful. Thank you very much for being on the show, Chuck Hogan.
God bless, Ronnie.
Thank you for sticking with us until the end. To make this content even more valuable for you, please leave a comment below and share your thoughts, and also share this video with somebody you care about who absolutely needs to see this. Thank you very much. Have an outstanding day and see you next time.